my name is Edna Sue McKee, and I'm planning to do a video today. I haven't done one in a good while, and Jerry's on vacation this week, so we talked about it and got one together, and I hope you'll enjoy it. Today I'm going to do one on hush puppies. This is the recipe that we use when we have a fish fry. My brother Philip Lemons is the fisherman of the family, and when he goes fishing, puts those fish in the freezer and gets them ready and gets enough of them, we have a big fish fry in the yard. And so I always have to make the hush puppies. So I'm going to share this with you today, and I promise you it's a really good recipe. My family enjoys it, and I can just make a meal on the hush puppies without anything else. So we'll start off with, it calls for 1.5 cups of self-rising cornmeal. And I've got everything pre-measured, so I wouldn't have to take the time to do that. So I used White Lily self-rising cornmeal, 1 1/2 cups. And then it calls for 1/2 cup of self-rising flour. Of course, I use White Lily. That's the best. And that's a 1/2 cup of self-rising flour. And I add it to that. And I'm going to stir that a little bit. The dry ingredients. It calls for 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda. Woo. I just messed up. 1/2 teaspoon of salt. And the recipe does not call for sugar, but I always put a pinch of sugar in it. It gives it a little bit of extra good flavor. So that's all the dry ingredients. It calls for 1 small onion that's chopped real fine, and I've already chopped that, as you can see, and I'm going to add that to the mixture. Give it another swirl or two. And I promise you, these are the best hush puppies that you can eat. Kind of reminds me of back in the older days when we used to have the Browns Creek fish camp. It kind of reminds me of that flavor that we had when we could go down there and get those hush puppies. Okay, 1 egg, slightly beaten. Add that to the mixture. Okay, I'm going to start mixing all of this together. And I've got one more ingredient, and that is 1 cup of whole buttermilk. Basically, all you have to do is measure out all your ingredients and then just mix them all together. It does not have to be in any particular order. Just get them all together and mix them well. Makes a real good thick batter. Just about blended it all together, and then we'll be going over to the stove. I've got a pot of Crisco oil in my boiler, and it's warming up. You have to, once you get your batter ready, the grease that you drop it in has to be really hot. It does not take real long for these hush puppies to cook once they hit that hot grease. So I wanted to show you the batter. It's real thick. So we're going to go over to the stove, and the next step is cooking them. Okay, we've got the mixture of the Hushpuppies already ready to go in the pot of grease. And I wanted to show you, I bought one of these containers, 64 ounces of oil. And this is the size pot I use. And this is a single recipe. When we have our fish fries for our family, we have several there, I always double that recipe, but this is just for the family. And I take a cookie scooper. This usually makes the right size for the Hushpuppies. I take a cookie scooper and pack it down in it and wipe it off and scoop it down in the grease. And you put as many in the first batch when you start cooking. You put as many as you can get in without crowding them up too much. All they got to do is brown real good, and they'll float to the top. And when you see them floating to the top, keep an eye on them. Got 3 in there so far, and they've already started turning a little bit, floating around in the grease. I do it this way, and all of the Hushpuppies turn out to be about the same size. I promise you that your family will love this. This just adds to any kind of fish that you fix. If you want to cook a box of frozen fish, a quick way to, you know, not a fresh batch of fish, but if you want to get like a bag of frozen Mrs. Filberts or Gordon's or whatever you like, these go good with that too. Get you a little strainer. And this one is almost ready. I'm going to put it back in there for just a few seconds. I got about 6 in there right now. 6 or 7. And they're turning good and pretty and golden brown, so I'll be taking them up and then filling the pot back up. And you just keep recycling until they're all done. Be very careful with this hot grease. You've got to get it, before you get started, you need to warm it up and make sure it's just about ready to start bubbling before you start dropping your Hushpuppy mix in it. But never ever leave it, because this is a fire hazard. Okay, you can see in this boiler right here that I have several that's ready to be taken up, and they're beautiful and golden brown and crunchy. And I've got a few still in there that I put in last, so they got to cook a little bit longer. And then I'll repeat the process. And this is one recipe, and it makes a good many. I'll let those 2 cook a little bit longer and start putting a few more in there. When you drop the batter like that, kind of go down as close to the oil as you can get so it won't splatter and burn, because that's hot grease. House is smelling good, isn't it? I know Jerry's excited about getting to eat these too. He loves them. I think I'm going to tell him to be my first taste tester. So this is actually the second pot full of Hushpuppies that I'm cooking right now. And I still probably got enough for 3 rounds maybe. I think I'm going to stop here and let these cook. Kind of flip them around so they'll get good and brown on all sides. I was going to show you the remainder of the batter after 2 potfuls. So there's still a good bit left, enough for at least another potful. Well, then you take them out, put them in a dish, and put you a paper towel up under there so it'll catch some of that extra grease on them. I think our dog is smelling them now and she's wanting something. She's wanting to eat one of them. And got the whole house smelling good. Okay, I've got all of these have cooked, so I'll start the process again, and hopefully this will be the last round. It should fill up the pot again. Okay, the last batch of this is cooking and finishing cooking, so I'm going to start scooping them up and putting them in the dish. I'm going to cut this pot of grease off and set it to the side. You don't want to keep that sitting on that hot burner and let it cool. And I may can recycle this grease maybe for another fish fry or something. But this is what the finished product looks like, and I promise you it is delicious. So enjoy.